You don't have to change your entire life today. You just have to trust God today. One prayer, one act of obedience, one decision to keep moving forward. Small steps of faith become a lifetime of faithfulness. Don't underestimate what God can do through one surrendered heart. Today could be the day everything begins to change.
Help me! Please help me!
An Oklahoma social media influencer murdered by her husband not long after posting a video calling him a pedophile.
This news making national headlines while leaving the Owasso community devastated. KOCO's Abigail Ogle here with us live in studio now. And Abby, the timeline is pretty shocking.
Guys, a lot to get to in this story. So chances are you have probably seen the viral video by now. Sarah Gillson posted a video on TikTok doing the latest trend. It's dramatic music. She walks into frame and sits on a chair. And the caption says, "When Netflix drops a documentary about my soon-to-be ex-husband, who I just found out is a pedophile." That is the Netflix trend that's going on. Everyone kind of says their own thing. That was back on July 11th. Fast forward to July 23rd. Someone called 911. Dispatch apparently heard a woman screaming, then gunshots before the call disconnected. Moments later, Gilson's son called 911 saying his stepfather, Jeremiah Shawn Duffy, just shot his mom. When police got to this house, they found 2 bodies.
What we're not going to do is victim blame a woman who had her life taken just last night. This is Sara, who posted this to TikTok on July 11th, saying, "Waiting on my Netflix documentary about my soon-to-be ex-husband, who I just found out is a pedophile." And now some people are leaving comments saying, "She should have just been silent. She shouldn't have posted this. Are you kidding me?" We have seen women who stand by their man, who choose silence, and just one of those many examples is Brittany Stapleton, who's married to Josh Stapleton. He has been convicted of numerous.
She spoke out in a popular Netflix documentary. Then later, she was unalived. A 43-year-old social media influencer, Sarah Gillson, was fatally shot in Oklahoma, allegedly by her estranged husband, Jeremiah Duffy. And the timeline is sending shock waves through social media. Just weeks before her unaliving, Gilson had obtained an emergency protective order against Duffy after police told her he had allegedly been accused of molesting a minor. Less than 2 weeks before Gilson was unalived, she took to TikTok and publicly accused her estranged husband of pedophilia. And now she's gone. Was she trying to warn people? Did she know she was in danger? And could this tragedy have been prevented? The allegations surrounding this case are disturbing. Check out the clips, look at the timeline, and tell me what you think. Was this woman desperately trying to sound an alarm, or are we missing something bigger? Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.
Horrendous charges that involve children, and she stands by that man. That wasn't going to be Sara. She chose to use her voice. She chose to use her platform to make it clear that she was not standing by her then husband's behavior, and she had every right to do so. Women do not have to be silent when it comes to men's bad behavior, and Sara choosing not to be silent should not have meant the end of her life. Sara choosing not to be silent should not have meant that last night her son had to call 911 after hearing the gunshots that took his mother's life. Sara did not do anything wrong, and she is not responsible for not being here today. You can see from Sara's TikTok that she was trying to do all of the right things. She used her voice, which she had a right to do. She was spending time with friends to try to heal. She got a protective order. She was leaving him. She did everything right, and still she is not here. And still some people are blaming her. What happened to her is not her fault. The only person to blame is not Sara and her using her voice. The person to blame is this piece of shit. Shawn, Jeremiah Duffy, Dad Duffy, whatever the hell he went by on TikTok. This one, the one who took Sara's life before taking his own. The one who I have now received court documents and messages about regarding that child that he assaulted, the child that he was allegedly grooming. Everything about this is his fault. Sara had a right to speak. She used that right, and now some people are using it against her. Less than 24 hours after her life was taken, less than 24 hours after her son had to call 911. I am sure that some of those comments did not come with ill intent, but I hope that some of you that left those comments will see this video and understand why those words are so wrong and why they are victim blaming. It happens in every single case I cover, and I will always speak out against it. Again, Sarah did nothing wrong, and she did not have to be silent. I'm proud of her that she wasn't. I want to end this video with the most important part of this case. Rest in peace to Sarah. My heart remains with her friends, her loved ones, her family, her clients, everyone who is grieving tonight, everyone who is having to see these comments. They know, as the most important people in Sarah's life, that she is not responsible for not being here today. Rest in peace, Sarah.
There is no formula and or guarantee when it comes to keeping your life when it comes to a man. Unfortunately, a lot of them are emotionally unstable, and we have witnessed so many murder-suicides this year. So all of the advice that you guys have, it's not going to work. Unfortunately, it's just risky business when you are dealing with somebody who is emotionally unstable. It's not about choosing well. It's not about having a pew-pew or, having a weapon and protecting yourself. There is no formula. It is just risky business. So for all of you that are coming online to say that, oh, she shouldn't have exposed him, she would have still had her life. No, she wouldn't have. That man has always had a plan to unalive her. Was he going to do it this soon? Probably not. Did the Netflix documentary trend probably trigger him? Maybe, but he was going to unalive her regardless. And the reason why he was going to unalive her is because she knew his deepest, darkest secret, and he did not want it to be exposed. And because she was exposing his deepest, darkest secret, he was embarrassed. He became emotionally unstable. Hence, he unalived her. And guess what? She did go to the police. And what did the police do? Give her a piece of paper, a protection order. A demented and deranged person is not scared of a piece of paper, especially when somebody's on a mission that he knows that he's also going to take his life. That is not protecting the victim. This justice system, the legal system, it has failed women and children time and time again, all under the guise of a protection order. That protection order is not doing nothing for nobody. The protection order only works if the person that the protection order is out against is actually scared of going to jail. And I believe that if somebody actually has to go out and seek a protection order, they're obviously dealing with somebody whose screws are not tight. So that person is not afraid of death, and that person is not afraid of going to jail. So guess what? The victim is still exposed. That piece of paper is not doing anything for anybody. This is not a case of choosing well. This is not a case of leaving, because she did leave. She did go to the police. She exposed him. She did everything right, and he still unalived her. His plan was always to unalive her. So all the victim blaming and the victim shaming and all this stuff going on in the comment section, it really doesn't make any sense.
She posted a video online exposing her husband as a PDF file, and less than 2 weeks later, he killed her. This is a very heartbreaking and a very recent case. This just happened a few days ago, so unfortunately a lot of information is not yet confirmed, but this is what we do know. Articles online call Sarah Gillson a TikToker and an influencer, but she was so much more than that. She was a friend, she was a daughter, and she was a mother. She had a son and a daughter from a previous marriage, and at the time of her death, she was married to Jeremiah Shawn Duffy. Shawn had quite a large following online with nearly 350,000 followers, but it does appear that after Sarah exposed him online, he turned his profile private. Shawn was also a high school coach. Very recently, on July 9th, 2026, the police were contacted by a mother alleging that Shawn had assaulted her underage daughter who was on his basketball team. The girl's mother alleges that Shawn kissed and touched her 15-year-old daughter, and he was caught doing this by another coach. The 15-year-old daughter also told her mother that her coach, Shawn Duffy, also would send her inappropriate text messages, and while they were out of town for a tournament, he invited her to come stay with him in his hotel room, and then he offered her money to keep her quiet. The day after this police report was made, that mother filed a protection order for her daughter against Shawn. And that same exact day, July 10th, 2026, Shawn's wife, Sara, after finding out what her husband allegedly did to a child, also filed an order of protection against her husband, Shawn. And this was actually the third time that Sara filed an order of protection against her husband. She filed 2 in 2021, but they were dismissed after she failed to show up for court. But this time she did file through, and the judge was not wasting any time. That same exact day, the judge granted this order of protection, meaning that Shawn Duffy could not come in between 100 yards of his wife, Sara. And it was actually very scary because at this point, Shawn Duffy was on the run and the police could not find him. And the day after being granted this order of protection against her husband, and only 2 days after this police report was made alleging that her husband did something to a child, Sara participated in this viral online trend, pretending that you're being interviewed for a documentary about something crazy that happened in your life. The screen read in this video, "Preparing for when Netflix drops a documentary about my soon-to-be ex-husband who I just found out is a PDF file." And the caption read, "I wish I was joking." And less than 2 weeks after Sara posted that video trying to expose a predator, Shawn Duffy violated the order of protection by breaking into his wife Sara's home late at night on July 23rd, 2026, so just a few days ago. And then a little after 11 p.m., a 911 call came in from the house, and on the call you can hear Sara screaming and crying, followed by a gunshot, and then the call went dead. Moments later, Sara's 11-year-old son also called 911 saying that his stepfather just murdered his mom. When first responders arrived at the scene, they found Sara and Shawn both dead from gunshots to the head. It appears that Shawn took Sara's life before taking his own. This case is an absolute tragedy. The fact that after trying to expose a predator and then getting an order of protection against this predator, that this was the outcome for Sara, absolutely breaks my heart. And my heart absolutely goes out to Shawn Duffy's underage victim and her family. I hope that not even for a single second that any of them blame themselves for coming forward, because this is absolutely in no way your fault. And of course, my heart goes out to Sara's 2 children, her son and her daughter, who she leaves behind. A GoFundMe has been made for her children, and I want to read part of that GoFundMe. It reads, "Sara was an incredible mom. Her children were the center of her world, and everything she did was for them. She loved them fiercely, worked hard to provide for them, and dreamed of giving them the best life possible." If you're interested in contributing to that GoFundMe, you know where you can find it. Just a couple days ago, I was scrolling like I do, and I came across Sara's video, and I went into the comments, and that's how I found out that she had just been killed the night before. I'm so interested to hear all your thoughts on this case. Did you see her video? Have you heard of this already? But while you're in the comments, please always remember to be respectful. So many victims are left behind in this case, not just Shawn's victim, but also Sara's 2 children, and we at least know that her 11-year-old son witnessed this happen, or at least found his mother's body. So please always remember to be respectful while you are in the comments, and also of course for everyone else that Sara leaves behind, and for Sara, who lost her life in this case after trying to expose a predator. Absolutely heartbreaking. While you're in the comments, please let me know what case you want to see me cover next. Thank you to the hundreds of you that suggested that we cover this case today. And I will see you guys all next time in my next video. Please be a good person to your
This story out of Oklahoma is absolutely wild, and you cannot tell me that it is not the making of a future Netflix documentary or Dateline episode. Buckle up and let's talk about this very wild story out of Oklahoma. And my OG followers already know, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. If you're not following the Black Death Society, please make sure to do so. This is a space in which pop culture money in real life meet. The woman behind me named Was Sarah Gillson, and she was a 43-year-old mother of two. Sara decided to participate in a trend that's currently going on the Clock app, where people act like they're sitting down for a Netflix documentary based off of something that's going on in their life. Now, this is Sara, and this is, you see the caption above right there. And basically, she decided to participate in this trend from an experience that she was going through with her husband, who was being accused of having a very inappropriate relationship with an underage child. Now, this is the husband, Shawn Jeremiah Duffy. And after Sara posted that video, Shawn broke into her house on July 23rd and unalived Sara as well as himself while her children were in the home. As I was looking into this case, and I don't know if the violence and the threats started after Shawn got caught with the child, but either way, these two were duking it out in court. Shawn had threatened to unalive Sara as well as himself before. And what is the lesson that we can learn from this? The lesson that we can learn from this, and what I will say time and time again, especially to my women, is when people show you who they are, believe them. You can't play around with a wild animal. And I'm not placing blame at Sara's feet for this, because I'm pretty sure that, and like most women in her situation, think that this man is never capable of that level of violence. But trust me, they are. And when someone is that unhinged, they are liable to do anything. You can't be playing around with them. You can't be joking. You have to take the threat literally. But I know that the people at Netflix are probably aware of this story, and they probably already got writers and producers working on it. Because my theory is, whenever they say it was a small town, this couple unfortunately fits the model of what people in those type of documentaries and Dateline episodes look like. So I am pretty sure that we will be seeing their story play out in a future documentary on Netflix or Dateline. I'm calling it now. Down in the comments and let me know, have you heard about this story, and what are your thoughts on it? If you found value in this post, please make sure to like as well as share, and don't forget to follow for more.
The woman who made that video was murdered last night in Oklahoma by her husband, who she was accusing of being a pedophile, and after he murdered her, he took his own life. So this is Shawn Duffy. That's the name that he went by on social media. And according to the allegations that I've seen so far in relation to this case, he was a pedophile. As you can see up there, Shawn actually had a pretty big following on social media. He had 350,000 or so followers. And Sara, his wife, also posted consistently online and had a following of her own. Unfortunately, though, it seems that in June, Sara discovered something dark about her husband. According to some of the allegations that I've seen so far, Shawn was a high school sports coach, and he was allegedly caught making out with a student of his. I believe the student was 14 years old, and according to reports, the police were building a case against him. And obviously, after Sara found this out, she immediately filed for divorce and filed for a protective order. Now, this is a sad reality of living here in America. You can file for a protective order, you can ask for protection, you can bring all of these allegations to the authorities, but it seems a lot of times like they just don't care enough to actually protect the people that need protection. And unfortunately, last night, Shawn broke into the couple's former home, murdered Sara in cold blood, and then ended his own life. This truly was a despicable man who went out in the most despicable way possible. And this just goes to show that coming forward with allegations against somebody obviously is never easy, but it can oftentimes be very dangerous. And that's why it's become one of my life missions to always listen to, believe survivors, and help them share their stories. Because unfortunately, sometimes these stories have tragic endings. I'm going to keep you guys updated on this situation. This is a truly horrific and heartbreaking story, and the actions of this guy, Shawn, can only be described as truly despicable.
This Netflix documentary trend should have been wrapped up already, because when real abuse gets mixed with viral entertainment, the consequences can become devastating. Because this is what happens when a viral format collides with a real domestic violence case. So a TikTok creator named Sarah Gillson posted one of these now famous videos where people pretend they're sitting for a future Netflix documentary, except hers wasn't a joke. Less than 2 weeks later of that video, police say her estranged husband broke into her home, murdered her, and then took his own life. A child inside the home called 911. Court records also show Sara had previously sought legal protection, including an active protective order issued just weeks before her death. This story is about far more than a silly TikTok trend. It's about how dangerous intimate partner violence can become, especially during separation. In fact, leaving an abusive relationship is often one of the highest risk periods for homicide. So social media didn't create that danger. But this tragedy is a reminder that behind viral videos can be real people facing very real threats. If you or someone you know is documenting abuse online, that may be only one small part of a much larger safety plan, because sometimes what looks like internet drama is actually someone trying to survive.
If you haven't seen this video pop up on your For You page, this woman, influencer Sarah Gillson, posted it on July 11th. And in the video, she wrote, "Preparing for when Netflix drops a documentary about my soon-to-be ex-husband, who I just found out is a pedophile." And she captioned it, "I wish I was joking." And the video went mega viral, right? Just weeks later, on July 23rd, Sarah Gillson, 43 years old, was shot and killed in her Oklahoma home. And police say her estranged husband, 48-year-old Jeremiah Duffy, murdered her before taking his own life in what authorities are investigating as a murder-suicide. And this is terrible. The 911 call was reportedly made by a child who is inside of the home, and dispatch audio indicates a dispatcher heard a woman screaming and crying moments before a weapon was fired. And what's even more heartbreaking is that this wasn't a situation where there were no warning signs, right? Like, court records show that Sara had filed an emergency protective order against Duffy just over a month before her death, alleging he had a weapon, had threatened to take his own life, and had gone on the run. And a judge ordered him to leave the home, stay at least 100 yards away from her. And that same day, another emergency protective order was filed on behalf of a 15-year-old girl, accusing Duffy of inappropriate sexual conduct while he was coaching her basketball team. And both protective orders had been extended through August. And this whole story just makes me want to talk about how this is why so many women don't speak out in situations like this. This is why so many women with abusive partners don't come forward. This is why so many survivors of SA stay silent. This is why so many children who have been abused never tell anybody, because sometimes when people are confronted with the consequences of their own actions, they choose extreme violence instead of accountability. We've seen tragedies like this happen over and over again, and I just want to know, when's it going to end? When is women's safety going to be taken seriously? May Sarah Gillson rest in peace. My heart is with her loved ones and everyone affected by this devastating loss, and by her ex-husband. I am not even going to say his name. His victim finds peace and comfort in her life after having to deal with this horrible tragedy.
Radical responsibility. Stop waiting for someone to rescue you, by Jacqueline Wade. No one is coming to save you. I repeat, no one is coming to save you. The moment you come to grips with that, life starts to take a new turn. You stop waiting for a fairy tale rescue and start realizing that you are equipped to face the dragons in your life. Whether it's slaying debt, conquering self-doubt, or navigating broken relationships, the truth is that you already have what it takes to overcome. Life is full of moments when we wish someone would swoop in and save us from our circumstances. It's easy to daydream about a knight in shining armor riding in to rescue us. But what if I told you the knight isn't coming? Before you panic, here's the good news. God has already equipped you with everything you need to fight and win your battles. That's right. You're not waiting on the night. You are the night. Now let's be real. Taking radical responsibility for your life is both empowering and terrifying. It means letting go of excuses, owning your choices, and embracing the fact that the life you want is up to you and God. This isn't about hustle culture or self-mantras that sound good but leave you exhausted. It's about aligning your choices with God's God's word, trusting his promises, and putting faith into action. It's about doing the work while learning and leaning on the one who gives you strength. I get it. Taking radical responsibility can feel overwhelming. You might be thinking, but Jacqueline, I've got bills, kids, a job I don't love, and a dog that eats my shoes. How am I supposed to take charge of my life on top of all of that? Let me reassure you, this journey isn't about perfection, it's about progress. God doesn't expect you to have it all figured out. He just wants you to take the next step in faith. Throughout this book, we're going to laugh a lot, cry a lot, and grow a lot. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. So prepare to stretch. Prepare for the stretch. Each chapter is designed to challenge you, inspire you, and equip you with practical tools rooted in Scripture. Whether you're navigating financial struggles, relationship challenges, or just feeling stuck, this is your wake-up call to take action and partner with God for your breakthrough. And here's the best part. You're not alone. God is walking with you every step of the way. And just like he parted the Red Sea for Moses, he can make a way for you too. So grab your Bible, a journal, and maybe even a snack, because we're about to do some serious soul work. And hey, if it ever feels overwhelming, remember, even nights need a coffee break. Are you ready? Let's stop waiting and start moving. Your breakthrough is just one bold decision away.